Hello, everyone. Welcome to Trailblazin with Tara Misu, the podcast where we try to put the fun back in cannabis while sharing a little insider wisdom and chatting with some amazing guests. Today we have Makeda Marley. I met Makeda a couple months ago at an event I threw, and I immediately loved her energy. She is so kind and humble, and she is the daughter of the reggae pioneer, cannabis legend, one of the best-selling artists of all time. Rolling Stone ranked him the number 11 greatest artist of all time, Bob Marley. And Makeda is a talent in her own right. She is performing as DJ Liv Luv. She has a debut album coming out this year, a single, Freedom Isn't Free, and a great story behind that. And she is launching a cannabis CBD line, Makeda Marley brand. Guys, we have some royal blood here today. Please welcome Makeda Marley. Hi, hey, hon. How you doing?
Hi, Tara. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Very excited to have you here today. Thanks for coming on the show.
I'm excited to be here. This is my first Zoom.
I know. And Makeda actually lives by me. She's down near Philly. I'm in Jersey. So we have plans to do this in person, which I always prefer, but coronavirus. So here we are.
Yeah, we got to stay at home.
Since we're talking about coronavirus, I want to talk about that too much. But so, you know how everyone's making their own masks out of bandanas? Have you seen that?
Yes, my friend made me one.
Did she? So I was going through my bandanas and I found this one.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
I was like, oh, I have a Bob Marley Corona mask. But
that'd be really cool. You got to stay protected. That's so cool. I didn't think of that. I'm sure I have like plenty of stuff with my dad on it that I could turn into a mask. I don't want to cut it though.
No, you fold it. You just fold it and loop it. But yeah, there's like, maybe I'll do a how-to video with it. But anyway, so tell me about growing up Marley. Like, just, did you get to spend time with your siblings? Were you down in Jamaica at all? Like, what was your experience?
Well, the answer is yes. I spent time in Jamaica with all my family, even Mama Rita, time at her house down in Skyline. And Sabella and Karen, they had a house next door to Rita. And growing up was awesome. If you want one word to describe growing up in my family, it was amazingly fantastical.
Wow.
That's 2 words. I'm sorry. That's 2 words.
That's okay. You're allowed 2 words. That's very cool. Yeah.
So it was always a lot of fun because there's so many of us. So it was like Ziggy, when Ziggy was on tour with the Melody Makers, it was so fun. I remember when they came to Philly and it was Conscious Party was out, and then the children playing in the streets. Like, there's just so many songs out of my brothers and my dad's music that's just, it always brings back really fun memories of my childhood. Like, I lived a normal life growing up in Coatesville, and I was born in Miami, but I grew up in Coatesville, so it was like so normal my life. I had a stepdad, and I call him dad because he raised me since I was 1.
Okay. And
him and my mom's been married for I think it's like 37 years now. Well, I'm giving away how old I am. Oh no.
That's okay. That's okay. I've said my age on the podcast. I said it the first
Oh episode. No, wait a minute. I mean, 27 years.
So, no, sweetie, I hate to break it to you, but you're on Wikipedia, so people could just look it up.
I know. But that's fake news.
It's fake news. I think we're going to celebrate our 25th birthday this year, me and you together.
Yeah. Well, I want to be 29. I'm sorry.
You want me 29? Okay, you could be.
Yeah, because my cousin, she just turned 25, and I was like, there's no way you're 25 when I'm only going to be 29. You're right.
Yeah, I think I turned 29 a couple times, for sure.
Okay, good.
That's awesome.
So I know I can just stay that age then. It'll skip.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, yeah, but I remember the first time I went to Jamaica, I was, I think, 10 or 12. I can't really remember the exact year, but going to Jamaica and, you know, getting off the airplane and getting into like the black armored SUVs that were all tinted out and everybody screaming like, Bob Marley, Bob Marley, like as we drive like down the street in the motorcade, because, you know, my brothers and sisters picked me up and they all knew for some reason that where they are at all times.
Wow.
Like before anything, like, you know, TMZ, the Jamaicans knew when our family, because we're like a royal family down there, so they know when we arrive.
That's why I said I got royal blood here today, man.
Yeah.
Seriously. So
I was just talking to a Jamaican today about that. He was like, you know, your family, they're more important than the prime minister. Like, we're like the royal family of Jamaica.
That's amazing. I would just be there. I'd be there all the time then.
I know. That's true, but I wouldn't be there all the time because my brothers and sisters, they all moved to the States.
Yeah.
You know, the United States of America is the best place to be. I wouldn't be anywhere but here.
Aw. Well, yeah. Yeah. I forget how spoiled we are. We really do have it good.
Yeah. Like even though in Jamaica, it's a lot of poverty. So you got to think about, as the richest family in Jamaica and with the poverty, they got robbed a lot. Their houses were broken into. We always had to have security. You know, it's a lot of, you know, bad men in Jamaica.
Oh, yeah.
And the gunmen. And then, like, when they talk about it, you think they're just singing about it in the songs. No, that song Kamani has, The Gunman's World, it's a real thing. And it's very dangerous. And the children are running, just like, I don't know if you saw in Belly when Ox went to Jamaica, how the children were running up and banging on the window with the guns.
No. Oh.
Yeah. So that's why I'm going to stay in America. My brothers and sisters all have houses in the States. You know, we're everywhere from California, Miami. Most of us, they all have houses like in Miami, the big compounds down near Sedella's house. And then she built her mom a house she built her house right next door, and her mom, Mama Rita, is living next door to her. And I know Damien has a house and a studio. Kamani's based out of Atlanta. Ziggy is out in California, and Rohan is New York, California, and in Miami. So we're all over. Robbie's in Miami. There's a lot of us, so it's so much fun. Okay,
there is a lot of you guys.
So you get there because I can talk about that for so long, and so it's so much fun.
Do you ever get the chance to all get together anymore?
Well, we get together when they're on tour, or if I go down to Miami. But everybody's everywhere at different times. You know, we have kids and we have lives.
Yeah.
And we have our family that are our friends that we were raised, like grew up with, you know, from our different areas. You know, Julian he grew up in England. You know, we all go to Jamaica, but there was never a big Marley like reunion. You know, we just have tours and we have concerts and we have. You can never get all of us into one spot. The person that does that, they're going to be brilliant.
You know who it's going to be? It should be a concert promoter who puts on a festival and you guys are all the lineup.
That would be amazing.
Just Marley Fest, and you guys.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Plenty people try to do that, but
really?
And then to get like even the kids, like Joe Mersa. Mersa has a hot album out. I don't know if you heard it, but I'm a DJ, so I always am listening to new music. My nephew Daniel Bambata in California, he just came out and had dropped a couple hot singles. Joe Mersa, Steven's son, Bambata's Ziggy's son, Sasha Payne, that's Steven's daughter. She's DJing, DJ Sasha Payne. She's DJing all over, you know. They had the Marley cruise, Damien's cruise. A lot of my brothers and stuff performed on there, but not every year you get us all on there at once. It's just too many people.
So there's a whole new generation coming up now too, because you guys are all
exactly.
That's amazing. How about
I'm still trying to keep up because I'm like the youngest daughter, so I'm the the youngest aunt. So it's like the kids having kids, and like my son's, he'll be 15, and my middle one's 8, and my baby, he's 1. So like I have all the generations covered, I think.
That's very cool. That's awesome. And do you think they'll wanna, because everyone does music in your family, so you imagine your children will wanna.
No, they don't mostly do music.
Oh no?
A lot of us, no. Stephen has 20 kids. Only 2 of them out of the 20 do music.
No, I meant your generation.
No, because only Ziggy, Damien, Stephen, Rohan, Kamani. No, Rohan doesn't do music. Only half of us do music. Sadella stopped doing music when the Melody Makers split up. They always trying to say, "Oh, City, come and do music and get the Melody Makers when they're gonna make another album." But no, it's not. It's never gonna be like when we were younger.
But do you realize that 5 is a lot of talented people in one family? You're like, no, it's only 5. I'm like, that's amazing. Some people that don't have a single person in their whole family who's, musically gifted. So
yeah, but it's like when you grow up music, and that's it.
Yeah.
When you grow up and your dad's on tour, like Ziggy, he got to travel with our father, they got to be around him. I'm the only child that wasn't actually around him while he was alive. I'm the only one that was born after he died. So I only know of him through being with my family. So
tell me about that. So that's I'm sorry, I can't imagine what that's like, knowing that you just missed meeting your father. So did you feel like through his music you kind of got to know him, or through stories?
Well, that was the only way.
Yeah. But
that was the only way, was through his music and through stories people tell me that I meet along the way, and through my family members and my cousins and stuff. Hey, guy.
That your family there, or who?
Yeah, it's my oldest son. Look, he's taller than me. Come here, Kai.
Yes, he is.
Did you know that birds have ears behind and under their eyes?
No, I didn't. Well, that's good to know. Chickens do too. I like chickens. Fried.
Oh, I was like, wait, you guys have chickens? Cool.
Yeah, we live on a farm. I have a farm with 5 acres.
Oh, that's fabulous. So wait, have you looked into growing hemp or cannabis on your property, or?
Oh, who said it wasn't growing already?
Oh, fabulous. That's great. So, yeah, I mean, that was something you've been doing for a long time. I know. And you've been kind of like your dad, a freedom fighter for cannabis rights and activism. So yeah. Tell me your tale with that as well.
Well, I've been doing it for almost 20 years now. So, I mean, that's it.
So are you yourself, like, I know we were talking before we got on officially about you're a recipe creator and you love to cook. Are you also a cultivator? Do you like know how to grow and all that?
Yeah, that's where I got my charges were from manufacturing marijuana with the intent to distribute. Because I had a whole garden in my house when I lived in Thorndale, outside of Philly, and I was renting the room out to somebody that I found on Craigslist, and he wasn't trying to pay me rent, and he was trying to extort me by saying that he was going to tell on me if I didn't let him live in my house for free. And that's where the domestic disturbance came from. They were like, oh, it was her boyfriend, but it wasn't my boyfriend. It was just some random person that I was renting a room out in my house. I had an extra bedroom.
Yeah. And
then when he tried to do that, I pretty much was kicking him out, and he told the cops, he was like, oh, she has weed growing in the basement, and they were like, yeah, whatever. And the basement was locked, and you couldn't smell it because I had dryer sheets in all the heaters in my house. But I had a really nice garden. I was growing medicinal marijuana back in 2000. Oh shucks, what year is it?
2020 now.
So I started growing in 2001.
Wow.
But outdoors. And then in 2008 is when I had my house, and I started when I would get done harvesting outdoor, I brought them in and I cloned and had cut. I clone and cut, and I'm a cultivator. That's what I've always done. I've always grown marijuana. Marijuana grows in the earth, and I've always grown it. So when they finally caught me, I was growing Endless Sky, and I had my strain of Purple Haze was some of the most beautiful buds you've ever seen in your whole entire life.
Wow.
And Endless Sky was another strain. I had 2 strains, Purple Haze, Endless Sky, and then just like, some Reggie. I don't remember what it was called. But when they caught me, it was the Endless Sky that was it was blossoming at that time. And they took my plants. I had 6 plants in flowering. I had 12 plants in veg, and then I had clones of my mother plant. Yeah, it was so sad. And the cops were one of the cops was a dickhead because he was just a dickhead cop. But then there was another cop, he was like, when they were taking the plants out, the one cop was like dumping my dirt. I was like, don't dump my dirt on that grass. It took me so long to grow that grass because I had a huge tree with a rope swing in the backyard. And so it was a shaded area, and it's hard to grow grass in a shaded area. Oh. If anybody knows about growing anything, that it's hard to grow grass under a tree. So he's like dumb. And then the one cop, he was like really nice. He was like, I feel like I'm moving my friends out. I was like, yeah, probably because your friends all grow weed in their basement, and you're probably going to take my plants to their house. Because I've never seen my plants in the evidence locker over at Callan where the cops had arrested me.
They were all adopted, I'm sure, by someone.
Yeah, I'm sure they were adopted. And that's what I told that one cop. He was so funny, but he was always really nice to me. Like, it's so funny how, like, I don't like police, but I do like some police.
Yeah.
Like the ones that are nice to me.
So when I was going to try to get a license in my town, and I'm never nervous. Like, I could talk to people. I could talk all day. It's my thing. But the township wanted me to sit down with the chief of police and tell him why I should be able to, have a dispensary in my hometown. And a councilman brought me in, and at the end of it, he's like, were you nervous? And I was like, yeah, I was. He's like, your eye was twitching the entire time. Because that was the one thing I'm like, I have to convince a cop to let me sell weed. That's weird. But yeah, I think that's deeply ingrained in us to have that. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. I do. Yeah. And I remember one time I got in an argument, and the cop's like, well, why didn't you call us? I'm like, I'm not going to call you. Every time the police come around, I get arrested. Like, you mean, why? The question is, why would I call you?
Yeah, for sure. I get that. And yeah, there's so much, and this is things we're trying to fix too. There's so much in cannabis that's wrong. And like, when I look at someone like you who says, I've been growing for 20 years. I have some of the most beautiful buds you've ever seen, and then when it comes time for licensing, they're giving it to a guy who was selling insurance 6 months ago and just said, oh, the green rush, I'm going to make some money off cannabis.
Exactly. And that's what kind of upset me about Christine Visco. Like, she's supposedly the queen of pot in Philly. And I'm like, no, she's not. She was freaking working at the damn grocery store. And now she went into the weed industry, and she doesn't know anything about pot. She probably never grew a plant in her life. If anybody's a queen of pot in Philly, it's me.
Doesn't your name literally mean like queen or greatness or something? I remember you telling
my name, the meaning of my name is shepherd leader.
Oh.
So I've always been a leader, but Makeda in the Bible, she was the queen of Sheba.
There you go.
And that's where my name came from. My grandmother was a devout Catholic, a Protestant or whatever, from Louisiana, because she was in a tribe. And she was the princess of the tribe. She was the youngest daughter.
Wow.
And so she used to sing opera. When she got married, she moved up to Philly, and she owned a couple businesses. She had a wig shop called Melmar's Creation on 52nd Street. And she had a Peter Pan's clothing store, children's clothing store. And when my mom met my dad, she used to get clothing from my grandmom's shop and clothe and take care of all my dad's kids. So that's why, for the most part, the other children have a lot of respect for my mother, because she was, his girlfriend that they knew that helped him actually start the label Tough Gong. And so my grandmother, she was an opera singer. She sung at the Philadelphia, she sung in French, Italian, and German.
Wow.
She sung Madame Butterfly, and she owned a business, and she went to church, Catholic church. And when my mom was pregnant with me, my dad, he was very sick. And so he died on May 11th. That was my due date.
Oh.
And when he died, my mom, like a week later, flew up to Philly. No, not a week later. I was born on May 30th in Miami at Jackson Memorial Hospital. But because of all that stuff with my dad going on, and like his, they had that big procession, and then they had it in Jamaica, and they took him up to the temple that he's buried in up 9 Mile. She came back to Philly. But my grandmom said, name her Makeda, because she read it's a book called Women of the Bible. And she saw that the Queen of Sheba was the one that brought King Solomon all the wealth. And she was a knowledge seeker. And in my family, names have a lot of weight on what the person's going to grow up to be. Oh. And a lot of families is that way. But I just know in mine in particular, that's why my grandmother wanted to name me that, because my mom was always like a wisdom seeker, and that's how she met my dad, because my dad was very much a spiritual person. A lot of his music was taken direct lines out of the Bible, out of the book of Revelations and out of the book of Genesis. And, when he talks about the stone the builder refuses, the head cornerstone, that's a direct quote from the Bible. And that's because my grandmother, Grandma Booker, just to be, a lot of people called her, the song No Woman, No Cry, he talks about his mom, like, don't cry. And he talks about mothers, and she nurtured him to be, a lot of people in Jamaica, they're raised very strict, 7-day Adventists. 7-day, is that what they're called? Where they put the Sabbath is on the Saturday. So Rastafarianism, and my dad, he pioneered a different secular of religion, but he was raised as a 7-day Adventist where the Sabbath is on a Saturday. So you'll see that's where the crossover comes, and why he's so much considered a prophet, because a lot of his lyrics and his music was directly from the Bible.
Wow, that is really interesting. Thank you for that. And yeah, to think that was about his mother and, her background. That's really beautiful. Cool. Yeah. Oh, I was looking at some quotes before, and there's the ones about like a man and a woman, like, love her, she's not going to be perfect, it won't be forever. And I remember, like, after a breakup, I was like, oh my God, I remember reading this quote and being like, it's so true. Like, life is hard, love, it's not perfect,
Yeah.
So you said your birthday was May 30th. My wedding anniversary was May 30th. I'm getting divorced now. So I was just like, oh, you know what? That's it's like good. Now I will remember that as a better thing that happened that day.
Exactly. And my dad, the reason that he had so many women is because in the African culture, kings had multiple wives. And my dad had so much love in his heart, it was hard for him to just, he loved his wife. He loved Rita. He loved Cindy. He loved my mom. He loved Kamani's mom, Anita. He loved Julian's mom. Like, he had a lot of love in his heart, and that was like the only thing that people could find to fault him at. Like, oh, he was a polygamist or he was a womanizer, but he wasn't. It was because the love that Jesus teaches us we should have, my father taught us that we should have. We have one love, and we are one, especially in the Caribbean. A lot of us, we're all related. All in this world, we're all related. That's why tonight at 7 o'clock, I don't know if you know about this, everybody in Europe is playing my dad's One Love song starting at 7 o'clock.
What? I did not.
Open up their windows and play One Love at 7 o'clock. Tonight is 4/10/2020. And they're having this big Bob Marley song playing to spread love, because we have to realize we're all human beings on this earth, and we're all brothers and sisters, no matter where you come from, what you do. If you believe in God and you believe there's one God and you believe in the Bible, no matter what denomination, whether you're Muslim or Jewish or Catholic or Rasta, we all are brothers and sisters. And that was my dad's message. And that's my brother's messages. That's my message. That's what Liv Luv is. We live love. Ziggy has love is his religion because that's how we were raised. We were raised like that. We were raised in love. We never had some people, they have families and you hate this person and you're jealous of that person. When me and my brothers and sisters, when we come together and we're in a room, you don't feel nothing but love. And it's just strong. Before my grandmother died, Stephen was on his mind control tour. And it was my birthday weekend. And I just happened to be in Miami, visiting with my family and stuff and with my boyfriend at the time. And my grandmother was alive. And Stephen had a free concert. At his free concert, me, Sadella, Ziggy, Robbie, Rohan, all walked into the backstage area at the same time. It was orchestrated by a higher power. It was and then when we all walked into the room, it's just you can feel his presence and being around us. And that's why people feel that way. When I meet people, like you said, I'm very humble because I know that, they're my brother, I'm their sister. It's not there's no jealousy in love. So
yeah, and what, I think even today though we do see non-traditional relationships more and more now where it's not necessarily, and I think in all the animal kingdom there's only 2 types of mammal that are monogamous and the rest of the world isn't. It actually goes against our animal nature to be. So, and I think when you really spell it out like that, it's such a beautiful sentiment. And I did not know they were doing that tonight. And I can't wait to tell people about that. That's a wonderful thing.
yeah.
How very cool. Does that happen often where you kind of, because it is one of those songs that's a huge unity song.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, right?
We don't always hear about it. But now with social media, I have people always reaching out to me, sending me things, sending me pictures. And I love it because it just reminds me that he's looking out for me, that no matter what, he has my back. I walk into a grocery store, I hear One Love, or I hear jamming. I walk into a gas station when they have the little radio playing, I'll hear my dad. I walk into the mall, I hear my dad. I go places, I see his face. Everybody's looking at me you look so familiar. And I don't always go around oh, well, I'm Bob Marley's daughter and you're probably seeing his face everywhere. That's why I look familiar.
Yeah.
But I'm oh yeah, I do. Oh, okay, that's nice. I just take it in strides because you don't know everybody's intentions and everybody's motives. So I'm very guarded in that way. I was raised that way. I was raised in a very sheltered. Are they arguing? Seriously? Anyway, I was raised always worried about, oh, is somebody going to kidnap me and try to ask my mom for ransom because of who I am? So don't tell anybody who you are and just keep a low profile. So I was kind of in the shadows, I wasn't in the foreground, and it was for my own safety. It's because people are crazy.
People are crazy. So do you feel now trying to you have this brand?
Are you really in there screaming?
Yes, because Kai wants to wrestle and I have a broken finger right now.
Yeah, and why is he trying to wrestle you when I told you I had this interview?
I don't know.
Come here and meet Tara.
Wait, on what?
I'm on your Zoom. Remember I told you I need your phone charged up for my interview? This is Indy.
Hi, Indy.
Say
Nice
hi.
to meet you.
Hi.
You can wave too.
Hi.
No, I can't.
Thanks for helping your mom get set up.
Yeah, it's all thanks to Indy that I have Zoom, right, Indy? Yeah, that's his phone. You hear him? It's your phone, but who paid for it? Where'd you get it for?
Where did I get it from?
No, what did you get it for?
My birthday.
That's right.
Very cool.
You have a nicer phone than Mama, don't you?
Yeah.
See,
Aw.
I tell you, these kids are lucky.
Yeah.
I might not have any teeth, but I got an iPhone.
That's so cute. I saw, who was it? I think Governor Murphy or someone said the tooth fairy was an essential worker, which I thought was very cute.
The tooth fairy is definitely an essential worker.
Yeah.
Yes, he did get tooth fairy coming. He had tooth fairy. He gets tooth fairy every day.
That's awesome.
I'm like, dang, it's like your birthday every day.
Yeah, good to be a kid, right?
Yeah, it is.
So,
especially growing up with me as your mom.
Yeah, you seem like
he's lucky. I wish I was my mom.
You seem like you'd be a cool mom.
When I first was pregnant, my friend went to Villanova, Mike Cassidy, he was like, oh my gosh, your sons are going to be so lucky that you're their mom.
So tell me about DJing, because you have your hoodie above your head there, DJ Liv Luv. Tell me, what your plans are, what you how you express yourself musically, things like that.
Well, about DJing, it's like, I don't know. I've just always listened to music. There's always been music in my life, so DJing just comes naturally. Mm-hmm. I just have a really good ear for music and what I like to hear, and to get, people happy, different events. I just want to DJ and like Questlove, I want to be a drummer like him too. That's what actually, Amir's my friend, and I love him, by the way. Cool. Shout out to Questlove. Hope you listen. I'm going to send you the link.
Oh, yes, please do.
I've been watching him like every night this quarantine. Every night he does live on his Instagram. And I watch him. And I even paid Erykah Badu her $2 for her quarantine series.
Oh,
really? Apocalypse.
Oh, wow.
She has a quarantine series on baduworld.com. And it's her own platform. It's not on Instagram. It's not on Facebook. It's her own platform. And the first one she did, you had to pay $1. The second one she did, you had to pay $2. And I paid for it. That's my, like, her and him are my two. They're the two people that I've never paid to see Questlove. I'm not gonna lie, but I met him at her concert that I paid to go see.
Okay. That's good. I mean, it's good to support people, So
but she's the only person. She is the only person I have ever paid any money to go see.
Wow.
That's how much I love her.
She is awesome. She's another person who has, like, I've never met her, but she has that vibe of just like good energy. Like, she seems like she'd be like a beautiful person.
She is.
Is she?
She's so beautiful. I like, oh my God. She got me through my whole childhood. Ever since her first album, Bag Lady, pick your Aphrodite, 'cause it's flat on one side. Doom. I used to work at a body oils and incense shop. It was called the Farmer's Market, where I grew up at the town over in Downingtown. And I used to play her on repeat. Her album, we only had CDs players back then, so I would put her CD in and I would repeat it. So the whole time I was working selling body oils and incense for Mr. Claude, I played Erykah Badu. So that was like one of my first like jobs where I was out of my neighborhood.
That's awesome.
I love her. I paid to see her. She played at the Tower Theater back around the same time the Mind Control album came out. And see, that's why I've never paid to see anybody, because, with my brother, everybody knows me. All Live Nation in Philly, they all know me. I used to be at the Electric Factory regularly, the TLA, but the Tower Theater was the one theater that I didn't know the people that actually ran it. So I had to buy the tickets, and I don't even think I bought it. I think my boyfriend at the time bought them. Sid.
Very cool.
Producer. So yeah, but
so I love that you sang for a minute there, even though it wasn't your music. I got to hear your beautiful voice.
Thank you. My song is called "Freedom Is Not Free."
Yes. Tell me about that. So that was what you touched on earlier, is you were growing about 10 years ago. You got caught. The cops were dicks. You're on probation for a while, and then you had some domestic things with a roommate. So that's kind of what Freedom Isn't Free is about, right? Like, or am I?
No, I didn't have domestic. The reason that it was domestic with the room, that's why they said it was domestic, only because he was living in my house.
Yeah.
But no, after that, I got a DUI. Because they were following me. They got mad because I wouldn't like snitch on my connect and tell them who gave me the cuttings. So they would follow me after that, and they would follow me on Facebook. I call it Facebook. And they robbed my house too after that. I had to move from that house because when I would go visit my friend, I remember my friend died, and I put on Facebook that I was going to go visit his mom. I came back and my house was broken into.
Oh my God.
So they would follow me. They saw what car I was driving. I had a silver Volvo 850, the old one, the box one with the little fender on the back. And they would follow me around. And the cop followed me. I was taking my friend out for her birthday after I got off work. I bartended at in Exton, and I got off work, took her out, and they pulled me over saying that I was swerving. But I was only swerving because I was trying to light the bowl and steer at the same time.
And you explained that, right? And you're like, excuse me. I know
I'm totally not drunk. This has nothing to do with the half a bottle of Grey Goose we just finished.
I know my rights. Exactly. Yeah, I think we've all been there.
No, that's what happened. And then I got a DUI, and then I was on probation for 7 years. And then like on the 6th year, my mom kicked me out of the house, and I moved to upstate New York. And then they were like, oh, well, she's trying to flee probation. And I was like, no, I didn't have nowhere to live. And my friend had a big mansion up in the Mohawk Valley on like 350 acres. And that's where we were going to have this huge concert. It's called the Gelston Castle. And it's where Rostropovich's mansion was built, the Russian celloist.
Wow. That sounds very cool.
I was living in that house.
Whoa. Well,
it was so awesome.
You should still do that.
Well, it's still there, but it's a lot of politics with that house right now.
Okay.
I can't mention any names or say anything about it because it's a lot going on. But no, I'm not going to live up there anymore because I got in trouble for moving up there. My kid's dad told the cops or told my probation officer, which I didn't have at the time because I was on non-reporting. I did all my recommendations and all that stuff. And so when I came back to Pennsylvania, I was going to go get my son and go back up to New York at the apartment that I ended up in. And I had 5 acres up there too. I had a huge farm on the side of a mountain. It was so beautiful. I grew everything, cucumbers. Like I always farm. My father, my stepfather, we had a garden growing up. So we always grew tomatoes, peppers, everything zucchini. He makes zucchini bread. He was a baker.
Cool.
Like he's Trinidadian. I always grow things, and I always I'm a really country type girl. I love living in the country, and
I'm so the opposite. I'm so like a city mouse, and with this whole apocalypse thing going on, I was just like, I don't know, like I have maybe like a katana blade and a hunting chihuahua. Like I'm so not prepared. I was like, between hunter and gatherer, like I'm gonna have to learn to gather real quick because I'm not surviving if things go down.
Yeah, I'm a Black survivor. I'm a survivalist. I'm a minimalist. I like minimal stuff around me. I don't like a bunch of stuff in my house. Like I don't like stuff everywhere. I just like minimal shit.
Oh, if I pan the camera that way, the reason I'm sitting at this weird angle is because this is the only spot that's not a complete disaster in my entire room. This is my office. I'm like, oh yeah, this is real comfortable on the side of the chair. But yeah, what are you gonna do?
I don't know. Well, you're just the yin to my yang, I guess.
There you go. I can't wait to see you in person again when the world starts.
Yeah.
But
you got to come out to the farm. I was gonna have a quarantine party, like a huge backyard party where everybody can bring their tents and pitch them like 10 feet apart.
Wow, I like that. Like quarantine party.
Yeah, quarantine. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I should do for 420.
Oh, wow. I wonder if that's see, Pennsylvania doesn't have the crazy laws that New York and New Jersey right now.
It
'Cause
doesn't matter because my driveway's long and my parking lot's big, and then I have 5 acres.
wow.
So the cops can't even come here unless I call them.
Oh, and why would you call them? We already cleared that up. So,
And there's a historic, I live in a historic area. There's a little historic, like little town right next door to me that has another big parking lot where you can just walk through the bushes. That's how I get to my friends that live next door, Kristen DeMarco. That's how I get to her house. And there's
cool.
a huge parking lot there. So nobody would ever know that we were back on my property.
Wow. All right. Quarantine. I like it.
Yeah, I'm stuck in between a historic town and a farm.
Cool.
And the farm people, they're so nice. They let us use their in-ground pool in the summertime.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and they have a really cool pool and like garden area, and then they have horses over there. There used to be horses in my backyard, but I can't afford a horse yet. I can't afford a horse yet.
I can't afford a horse either. Don't feel bad. Even if I could, I'm
But
not
I
sure
want one so bad. Like I
Yeah.
love horses, and I actually work with the horses at the Thorncroft, which is a equestrian therapy center right down the street.
Oh, cool. That's like the ultimate rich girl thing if you have a pony when you're a
Yeah,
kid.
I had a pony growing up.
Did you? Oh,
Yeah.
see.
Her name was Rose,
Aw.
and that's my favorite flower.
All right. You're like rich girl diva now. You had a pony.
I am, but I consider it country girl. I'm just a country girl.
Okay.
I got cowgirl boots and a cowgirl hat, and I listen to country music.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I don't.
I ride horses. Like I ride horses right down there. My kids ride those horses.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
I took care of. They have 36 horses down there.
Whoa. That's a lot.
They actually paid me to take care of the horses and ride them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You're interesting. You're in so many different, types of. I did not picture you as a cowboy boot wearing, horse riding farm girl.
I am. I'm a cowgirl. I want to save the horses and ride a cowboy.
So when's your country album coming out?
Oh, that's my next album.
There you
My
go.
first one's going to be my conscious album, and my second one's going to be my country album.
Okay, your first one's your Erykah Badu album.
Yeah, conscious. Well, no, my conscious like Ziggy.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Like his Conscious Party album, that was a great album.
Gotcha.
I love that. Because I was around them like growing up to that music. So it was like it brings back such good memories.
Very cool. Let me see. Was there anything else I want to make sure? Oh, your CBD line I want to talk about before we go. So yeah, tell me, obviously you're an expert on all of this. So I'm glad that, like I said, it's not just Suits who are putting out product lines. Tell me about the products you have coming out. I heard you're doing something with an IPA and all this good stuff.
Oh yeah, I have CBD infused everything.
Cool.
From what I've seen so far is tinctures, lip gloss, makeup, lotions, serums, hair products.
So
One day nail products. I don't know. I just have a lot coming out. I know the what you said, the IPA.
The
Rick told me
IPA.
about that.
Yeah.
So it's
And-
all my Makeda J Marley line or MJ Marley. I have a lot of my Liv Luv line. That's mainly like my distribution and my distributor. Like I'm going to open up a shop, and just how Tara Vita, like the lady I told you, Chris Visco, and she's a queen of pot, I guess. But you're allowed to have 3 dispensaries in Pennsylvania. So I don't have the license personally, but my plan is to buy the land and open up my factory, and whoever has the license, they could rent the house, like everything from me.
Very cool.
And then I'll provide them with the marijuana.
Yeah.
That was my big picture. Like they ask you, what's your dream? Like, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? Like back in 2009, that was my long-term goal, was to prescribe it, because I wanted to get my doctorate in psychology. So I'd be able to prescribe the marijuana and then open up my own factory, like distribution, like grow And that's what's Liv Luv.
Very cool.
That's my corporation.
What are some unique things that are uniquely Makeda? Like what do you want to put out into the world now? There's so much to do in cannabis and CBD and music and life and just everything. Like what you want if you could have your dream, what's your mark you want to leave?
I'm sorry, I'm big now. It's just like, it's so weird. That's my mark.
That's your mark, Liv Luv? Liv Luv.
That's my mark. That's copywritten and word marked and trademarked.
Okay.
And it has its own EIN number, so nobody can steal that, okay?
Okay. I just, you know what? It's funny you say that. I don't know
And
where.
it's spelled LIVLUV.
I just found this the other day. I'm in my spare room. I'm cleaning. I was like, oh, my Blazin' Bakery trademark. Look at that.
Yes, I found mine the other day too. It's right here. I can't go get it. It's like way over there, but and then I make the camera fall again.
Yeah, no more moving. Just don't even.
Okay,
breathe.
I gotta just stay still. This is so hard. It's so hard for me to stay still. You said you have whatever it is.
ADD, yeah.
My second grade teacher said I was a social butterfly because I never sat still. I always like fluttered around the room.
So that's what's in the shop. That's a pillow. I was wondering what that was. It's a little.
Oh yeah, that's a pillow. I'm sorry, I can't move it because if I move it, the camera will fall.
No, it's perfect. But so I was saying, what's your like dream? Like what kind of mark do you want to leave on the world?
Well, just mainly, I just want to continue my father's vision of one love, and like everybody should just live love because that's what we were put on this earth to do.
Yeah.
That's it. It's all about living love. If you live love, then you can't be wrong.
Yeah. I found another quote of your father's that I liked. It was when he was shot and then he had a concert in front of 80,000 people 2 days later. And he said, the people who are trying to make this world worse aren't taking a day off. How can I? And I said, wow. Cause you think about like, I wake up so many days for cannabis and I do so much nonprofit work and it's just, I don't need to get paid for it, but I just keep thinking I'm fighting for what's right here. And that's the bigger picture. And, he was such a freedom fighter for so many things. And I see that spirit in you, which I appreciate. And we need a lot more of that in the world. People who aren't putting money first, who are doing things for the right reason. And Liv Luv, that totally falls within that. So,
and that's what I believe in. And that's all I ever believed in. And that's why I named my company that. I started Liv Luv back in 2009. After I graduated from Westchester University with my bachelor's in psychology, I met this guy on MySpace and his name was Oliver. And MySpace days, he called himself Ras Alova. From Germany, though.
Oh.
He came from Germany and he flew to America from Germany. I picked him up at the airport in Philly and he came to my house, the same house that I got caught growing the weed in. And he was like, okay, so the next, he came, he chilled, I set him up in my extra room. It was before I got that person in and it snitched on me and all that stuff. And he said, well, what do you want to do, Makeda? He's like, what's going on? Like I flew here from Germany. Like, what do you want to do? I said, I want to start my company. He was like, okay, well, what do you want your company to be? I said, I want it to be Liv Luv. And he's like, okay, well, what do you want to create? And I said, I want to make hoodies, t-shirts, recycled bags, tote bags out of recycled and organic material. And he said, all right, well, okay, give me something. I need, you got to create something. You got to draw something. And it was snowing like ever so lightly.
You're painting the picture.
I was laughing at myself because it was like a powdering, it snowed about maybe a half an inch, right? And it snowed on my, I had this deck off the kitchen and I had a table and the table, I went outside in the snow and I said, God, what's my thing going to be? And I just drew in the snow, Liv Luv, LIVLUV. And he took a picture of it. Aww. And that's the exact drawing in the snow that I made that day.
Oh my God, what a great story to have behind that.
That's why I got it word marked.
Oh, okay.
those two words and how I drew it is an original. It's not a copy of anybody. It's not a copy on how people usually spell the words live and love. And it's not a copy of any other design anywhere because I made it in the snow. And so he took a picture of it. We put it on Adobe Photoshop, printed it out. He took a stencil and we stenciled it out and cut out my stencils. And all my hoodies and all of my bags are handmade and they're organic cotton. The hoodies are. And the bags are made from 2-liter bottles, recycled.
Oh, cool.
And so that was the beginning of my company. And that's what I called my company. And that's what it's going to be called. And that's going to be my storefront. And once I get my land and stuff, that is going to be my strain of marijuana. It's going to be called Liv Luv, you know? And anything that has to do with Liv Luv, they're going to know it was from me. And it was from MJ Marley, Makeda Marley. And if you look at my, I'm going to show you my one sheet. Hold on.
Okay.
Because I had some of this in California at marijuana shops. I used to go to California and visit my brothers and visit my sisters and my friends. And this is my one sheet.
Oh, cool.
Where you could order it. And you see my logo?
Yeah.
You see my signature? We made that into the stem of the flowers. See the flower?
Oh, that's very cool.
I drew that by hand. So all this stuff here, I drew. I drew the flower. I drew that heart. I drew the logo.
Very cool. Do you have a website up yet to order from?
No, I had a website called livlove.us.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Michael Cassidy, I was talking about earlier, he said he wishes he was my son. He bought me a website and it was livlove.us. And he would pay for it every year as a birthday present to me.
Oh, cool.
But it was just like maybe 3 or 2 years ago. He's like, Makeda, you don't really do it because I don't know how to do websites and stuff that. I'm always a paper and a pencil type person. Like all my stuff's drawn by hand and sketched and cut by hand. Like everything I do is by hand. And that's what makes my brand Liv Luv original.
Yeah.
And that's what makes my logo original.
It's very
and
cool.
That is what you're going to see on all of my products.
That's really pretty. I love that with the 2 leaves. That's cool.
Yeah, that's the leaves I drew.
Yeah. You should well, give me however the order information is and I'll put it in the show notes so people, if they want to order, can reach out. But
that'd be great.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So, and that's on there. And then I also did a bed and breakfast with Oliver from Germany, Ras Alova. Right now he's in Canada. And I'm like, Oliver, come visit me. I need you to come cut it.
That's awesome.
So it's like an ongoing joke because like I had more designs. I always draw on a sketch pad. Even when I was in high school, I would go to the art museum every Sunday and just draw images and sketches. I'm a patress, which means I'm a pottery princess. I make ceramic and I make utilitarian ceramics. And I used to teach ceramic classes to kids in the summer camps up in Phoenixville.
Wow.
So I do that. So my pottery part of my company is called Peace Pottery. You can find that on Facebook. You can find Liv Luv on Facebook. You can find Peace Pottery. You can find my DJ Liv Luv page on Facebook. You can find my Marley Organics Facebook page. All these different pages. And I'll give you the whole list of them in case people decide to want to see what I'm doing. I
mean, after this, I would hope they would. I mean, this has been a really interesting interview. It went so many different places. I didn't even think it would.
I know, me either. I'm like, well, what did you want to talk about?
That's why I love doing these things because I always do like a rough outline of what I want to hit on, but then it always kind of goes off the rails to different places and ends up being more interesting than I even thought. So this was super cool. Yeah. So
all the points you wanted to talk about.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, it's is there anything else you wanted to talk about that I didn't?
Just my food.
Talk about your food.
Oh yeah, I was getting to that. Remember, I was like, okay, I did a bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
So I have a breakfast cookbook and I have the Liv Luv what is it called? YouTube. That's what it is. I have a Liv Luv YouTube channel, and I'm so excited.
That's awesome. Oh, so yes, before we hopped on, you told me about this. You're cooking with your kids, right?
Yeah, me and my son. It's called, well, I was staying with some friends on a street called Happy Creek in Westchester, Pennsylvania. And so we were cooking in the Happy Creek kitchen. You'll see Sunday dinner, and we made scallops, lobster tails, couscous, and wild rice, and polenta, and a mixed salad. And me and my 8-year-old that you saw, Indy, me and him filmed the first episode. It's called Sunday Dinner. I think there's like 3 segments on YouTube. And then when I came back home, it's called what is it called? Sugartown Kitchen or something. Because that's where I live, in Sugartown.
Oh, cool.
So it's called Sugartown, I don't know.
All right, that's a great name for an edibles line, by the way, Sugartown. I love
Yes!
that. Yes.
It is. And that's like where I'm going to be making all my edibles, is right here in my kitchen. So I'll post that. When I do make my edibles, I'll make sure to put it on that YouTube page.
Yes, you definitely should. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm so excited because I love to cook. I'm like a gourmet chef.
Very cool. Dude, you're doing everything.
When I go to visit my brothers and sisters, like I went to Sedella's house, and that's what I did. I cooked for her. I made it was so good. It was a seafood stew, and it was just like so good. She loved it. Sedella loves my cooking.
That's awesome. I don't know. I can make certain things for edibles, but then I usually bring in like I've worked with different pastry chefs and people who are a little bit above my pay grade because I'm all self-taught. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I told my friend about you. The one Andre Owens in Vegas.
Oh, cool.
I told him about you. I was like, yeah, her name's Tara Misu. He's like, what do you mean, like Tara Misu? I was like, yeah, exactly. He got it.
Ah, that's awesome. Yeah.
He was like the dessert. I was like, exactly. I'm gonna send you the link so y'all can connect and you can talk to him about his rouge. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like some French word, but he's really a cool person. And wait till you see his creations that he makes. Like, it's all THC infused. And he said, yes, he is legal, and yes, he is making, during this quarantine, delivering meals to people's houses.
Okay. Yeah. Vegas. That's amazing. We definitely need to have him on the podcast. Yeah, that's great. Dude, other states.
I'm like, wait a minute. I know you're in Vegas, but can you ship me something to Pennsylvania, please?
I know. Oh my God. Dude, Jersey, like I was just in an article the other day talking about this. We need delivery. We don't have it out here. And it's crazy. There's people suffering in their houses in quarantines. Epileptic.
Wait a minute. Do you know, didn't you meet Claudia?
Maybe. Who's Claudia? I don't mean black market delivery that we got.
No.
Oh.
She's delivering like the whole logistics of delivery of marijuana.
Oh. Okay.
Like
well,
the trucking company, like she has it going on. She's looking for investors.
Really?
That's another person that Rick took me to her. Rick says she works for me because she's like a product, like she gets products out there and exposure and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She runs the Philadelphia, it's a magazine. It's not Emerald because that's our friends up in New York, up in the Bronx.
They're Long Island, maybe somewhere. Yeah,
I think I went up to Emerald magazine and did an interview with them, but no, she's in Philly. And she does a publication, and she has a publication clients, and she's into the transport of marijuana.
Okay, very cool. Yep. Well, yeah, connect us.
He wants investors, so
yeah, it's interesting. During COVID, so I think a lot of the investors are going to obviously dry up, but I think certain things are going to do very well right now.
No, investors are not going to dry up. Everybody has a lot of money now because, well, I mean, not everybody, but the people that are rich, they're getting richer. And the people that are poor, they're getting poorer. But the people that are poor are also getting money from the government that they are going to want to invest in pandemic-proof businesses. That's where you're going to find a lot of growth in pandemic-proof essential businesses.
Yep.
you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I was getting to too. And also use goes up, much like alcohol. THC,
Thank you.
CBD, when people are depressed, when they have anxiety, when they're cooped up, use goes up. So yeah, not only is it,
And that's what I was telling Rick. I was like, Rick, you were always saying, oh, it's not a good time. It's Christmas time. I was like, what are you talking about? This is the best time. People are buying presents.
yeah,
People want to buy presents for other people. It's never not a good time to start a business or launch an idea.
no.
If it's a good idea, it's going to take off and it's going to grow. If it's a bad idea, then it's a bad idea. You shouldn't even do it in the first place. But my thing with him is people are always consuming, especially consumable goods / medicine / medicinals. Come on now, people. Everybody's thinking of pandemic. Oh, you know, the thing about being a Black person in America is that our lives have been a pandemic, okay? They think that, oh my God, these people, the white people want to social distance. They've been social distancing from us for generations.
Oh, wow.
We came over here and we were social distanced and quarantined and repulsive conditions. And we built this whole country. So this is nothing new to us. And we are resourceful to where we always find a lane, but it always gets stolen by the man. So now the playing field's getting leveled and we're going to have opportunity come out of this pandemic to a new world and a new order of things. And people are really seeing what's real and really seeing what's fake.
Yeah. And you know what? And it's not only just a black white thing too, but it's also class. People with poverty and people who have money tend to stay in those lanes, and women too. I found a statistic that 90% of all venture capital goes to straight white males. So
Exactly.
they leave 3% for everything else. And of the 5,000 dispensaries in America, 4 are owned by Black women, which is a ridiculous statistic. So
especially because we're arrested and incarcerated on alarming rates.
3 times the amount. Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, there's a lot of social justice that needs to happen. That's something I worked on a lot in Jersey's bill, and I hope, you know, people are in PA are working just as hard to make sure, because we need more minority dispensary owners and more women involved too. So
And that's so true, Tara. And
yeah.
to go further, you have to understand that I've been working on this for a long time. And I'm not trying to be a casualty of the war on marijuana. I'm trying to be a revolutionary that's going to push the legalization and to get people out of incarceration and to have prison reform and to give opportunity. We're not just releasing people out of prison to slave for somebody else. These people that they've arrested and that have been incarcerated for years were all anthropo Negroes, okay?
Yeah.
And so I don't understand how they can have the thinking that, oh, we'll let you out of prison, but then you have to be in a halfway house or you have to be on parole. No, fuck that. Give them the fucking, the licenses to run their legal business in a legal way of the business that you put them in there for in the first place, which is in a way called reparations. So if that's what you want to call it, that's what it should be. Restitution. That's what people need. The people that have gotten arrested and incarcerated for marijuana need to be let out immediately. And if I ever got to talk to Donald Trump, this is exactly what I would say to him.
Yeah,
they need to be released immediately and immediately automatically get a license to distribute it legally. That's all.
I mean, you hit on so many amazing things right there. You know, one of them, we shouldn't be limiting these licenses at all. We should just be giving them out and let people try to build their own empires, fail,
but
succeed.
not just giving them out to just anybody. We should give them out to the people that have suffered because of their laws.
For sure.
Because of their crooked laws. The people that have suffered and have lost their families, have lost their money, have lost their homes, No, you don't let them out of jail and let them be homeless without their families, without money. No, you let them out of jail and you give them the right to have that piece of paper that you want to give to all these big corporations and all these white people. They can afford it. We can't. It's obviously a disparity among it. So you give us the chance to have it granted to us. So we don't have to pay because we already paid enough with our lives and our family.
Yeah.
We paid enough. We built this country. Free labor, slave labor. That's free labor. Our ancestors worked hard enough for this country and it needs to change. And the only way to change is by giving us something for free. We gave everything to this country for free.
Yeah. I had on the podcast yesterday, I interviewed Leo Bridgewater. He's an activist, black activist for medical marijuana, very vocal. And he said calling it reparations isn't even enough to even use that word. He's like, it's just something that should be due. And when
it's restitution.
When
we commit crimes and say you rob somebody, what do they make you do?
What do they make me do? I guess you go to jail, right?
You go to jail and then you have to pay what? A restitution.
Yeah.
You have to pay that person back for what you stole from them. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Restitution is they have to pay me back for what they stole from me. They stole my livelihood. They stole my plants.
Yeah.
They stole my lights, my fans, my shit. I want to be paid back. All this money I've been paying this fucked up government, I had to pay them $7,000. And you know, every time I got another thing after it, it was another $2,000 fucking dollars. I want my fucking money back in a license so I can do what I was doing before you ruined my life.
Wow. Yeah. It's true, man. I'm trying. I'm out there fighting for you every day. New Jersey, a couple ways we went at it, and I'm not sure what PA is doing, but the micro license, I literally wrote it. I sat down and it was something to give opportunities to women and minorities. It was a lower cost buy-in. It locked out corporations. It had to be 51%.
And that's how it should be, Tara. What you did was a great thing. That's how it should be.
And it had to be 51% minority or women owned. It was specifically carved out.
That's how it should be.
And then even on the regular license, there was, you get so many points. There were points if you used a, like a, I don't know if it's work release, but like some kind of exit program for people who are coming out with cannabis charges.
I keep falling. I need my kids.
But yeah, so it was like if you were coming out of prison on a cannabis charge and this dispensary hired you, you would get points for hiring, basically taking those people and getting them out of the system and trying to give back. So it's like, it's always this compromise though. You never get everything you ask for. You always want to be like better, but and because the laws are state to state, like you need people in Pennsylvania fighting for that too. And
I understand that. And I was also I fought for people in Jersey too. I was at the rallies in Trenton. I was at the Capitol fighting with New Jersey Weed Man, said, Makeda, we come up to Trenton. Me and Peter Tosh's youngest son, Jawara Tosh, who was brutally beat up in prison, who is still in a coma that nobody wants to talk about. His family's still fighting for his life and his rights. Me and him spoke at the rally at Trenton, New Jersey. Before it was legal. And I think because we came together and we were so vocal about it, you can check that out on YouTube too. It's me and Jawara at the 420 rally.
Okay.
At New Jersey Weedman spot.
Yeah,
After that, New Jersey was one of the first states on the East Coast to go ahead and pass it for medicinal purposes. I spoke in Harrisburg. I went out there. I was out there with the normal people and the hemp people and the past it's normal, right? They want to legalize marijuana.
Yeah.
I was out there with them people in Harrisburg, in our capital here. I spoke in Lancaster, another city in Pennsylvania. And I go and I speak and I'm very vocal about what I want and what should be done to correct all the wrongs that they did.
That's good. And you've lived it. So you're the person who could say, look.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so passionate.
Yeah, I could tell you are. That's awesome. But we need passionate people. We don't need dry, boring, gray cannabis, corporate cannabis. We don't need that. We need people who lived it, people who live, love it. There you
Lived
go.
it and loved it. Thank you, Tara.
All right.
Yes, lived
Awesome.
it and loved it.
Yes, exactly. You are awesome. Thank you so much for doing this. I had a lot of fun.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Do you want to wrap it up? Are we good? So check you out on all those things you said on Facebook. It was, what were all of them?
And check out, and if you want to get in touch with me, you know who to contact. Rick Starr with Life Nation Networks.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, boom. He wants me to definitely say that.
Okay,
and
very cool.
It's a Tough Love production. That's my record company, Tough Love.
Okay, are you anywhere else? Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, any of those, or just?
I'm on Twitter as Majama, I think. I don't really know my Twitter. I always forget the passwords. I'm on Snapchat as Sexy Mac.
Just let your kids take it over. Be like your moms.
Yeah, they're the ones that made me get Snapchat.
Okay, awesome. All right, I'm just gonna take us out of here then.
All right, yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Tara.
Thank you, Makeda. Guys,
right,
thank you.
Peace and love.
Wait. Let me just say my little outro and then I'll end it.
Okay, cool.
Guys, thank you for listening to the podcast. All you Trailblazers out there, please rate, review, and subscribe. We have new episodes coming out every week. You can follow us on social media. It's Blazin Bakery or Tara Misu. Please also, I have dog treats, CBD dog treats coming out with my little baby Diablo. Follow at Blazin Barkery. And you can learn more about all my products at blazinbakery.com. Thank you guys. Love you. Stay safe in the pandemic and keep on trailblazing.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, baby. This was great.
All right. You're welcome. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right. Peace.